Normally, I'd be going to Scraps for Red Reserve, but I'm going to go away from Scraps. I'm looking at Zero. His respawn has not been great, if I'm being honest. He is a fantastic player, an individual who can change a game. So for him and Red Reserve, I think he needs to go big. But for Echo Fox, I do look at the new, obviously, player in Temp, and I want to see some strong stuff from him as well.
Obviously, you mentioned Zero's poor respawn. He's sitting at a 0.87 so far here in Stage 2. Definitely not the Zero-like-esque performances that we're used to. Of course, Red Reserve, though, going with a bit of a switch up in terms of the way Joe's going to be playing. Excited to see if they're going to have much success here against Echo Fox. As it stands, though, first Hardpoint, and it seems like Red Reserve have got a little bit of control here.
Yeah, and touching on Zero a little bit, yes, the role change has kind of come in. He's playing more of a role like Joe used to. So a role change, it may just be not his playstyle, but at the end of the day, if they're sitting in a top 4 position, they're heading to playoffs, it's whatever picks up the W for you. One player I do want to really credit is Rated. Easy to do so when he's 4-0 right now, but he's very, very consistent throughout Stage 2. And the Division A, so strong, and he's heading for streaks here.
Yes, he is. He makes a smart play. He gets out of the hardpoint when he can, rotates across, picks up the plus 100 for the hardpoint secure. Now if he's able to find one more kill, he's going to work towards full streaks, and just that. The extra points, of course, picking up the kill inside the hardpoint. And honestly, you get the streaks, may as well use them, right?
Uh-oh. He's put it right in the position. Now his teammates are going to be punished. He's just put the artillery down, and yes, Joe's going off in the hard point, luckily for Red Reserve, because look what they have to do. That's a real unfortunate series of events there. And Red Reserve, that couldn't have been any worse of a placement.
Yes, it was pretty bad. Basically blocked any of his teammates getting towards the hill, forced Joe to, do a good job staying alive, which he did. Managed to buy his teammates at least a little bit of time, keeping the hard point, of course, contested. As it stands, though, it's Echo Fox that break in. Still 20 seconds left here, and that 20 seconds is going to put it dangerously close to a tied game here for Red Reserve. They still have 2 other streaks to use. Hopefully, though, Rated uses them maybe a little bit better than the first one.
Yeah, but kicking things off, I will say, the map, of course, is very close, but I do think Red Reserve have had a bit more control over the game. They've had the rotations down, and unfortunately, yes, that artillery barrage wasn't used, but overall, I would say Red Reserve, they seem to be just a little bit more in control. Echo Fox, they have that firepower. Saints 8 and 6 right now. Red Reserve still in control. Joe still doing work.
And it's worth mentioning just that. Joe being such a nuisance at the backside. He actually managed to find a kill there as well. And again, just playing his life so well. Saints finally shuts him down, but by the time he falls, Rated is already pushed out, ready and waiting to pick up the cut, see if he can find any members of Echo Fox. Again, this was working towards maybe overlapping those streaks there. Just a couple of kills would have helped him, but still 2 streaks at their disposal. And Red Reserve looking comfortable right now, Phil, it must be said.
Yeah, and I want to touch on, obviously, Echo Fox. They didn't have the best ending towards yesterday, and Red Reserve, I think Red are in a very good state in their mental state, in the fact that they, yes, know they need to win, but when things are going wrong with this Red Reserve squad, and I don't know whether, Scraps is an influencer in this, they seem to be okay. They don't seem to panic. They don't seem to kind of let it all go down the pan. But I like what they did in regards to the bunker there. They not only had the hill, they were pushing out. You saw Zero getting amongst the kills, and now Joe still going strong, 10 and 8. When was the last time you saw Joe consistently being that slayer on the squad? We all know he can do it, but he's working towards those streaks.
It's funny because now he's putting himself in different positions than what we're used to seeing him in Stage 1, right? Stage 1, very much kind of baiting for the rest of his teammates, whereas, what we've seen here from Stage 2, thus far at least, has been very, very impressive stuff. And to your point, we know he can do it because we've seen glimpses of him do it time and time again. And now, of course, it's just feeling maybe a little bit more comfortable in himself. You are getting these standout performances. Finally, though, it seems Echo Fox starting to turn things around a little bit here. The final 25 seconds will be key if they're able to get it in office, of course, to try and close that gap. Red Reserve, they built themselves a pretty lead.
Yeah, and that's a really big kill for Scraps. Scraps getting the scrap time, but that 20 seconds is big. When you're leading by this kind of a margin of 60 points, they can really separate themselves. Red Reserve will be looking to go to Smokestack, and the reason that they can challenge, of course, that last kind of hill is they have these streaks to work on. They have that fighter pilot, that glide bomb. You're now going to Smokestack, which is your open area. You can raid upon them, try and crunch your way in, go for a pinch, and let's see what Raid is going to do with these, because it wouldn't surprise me if the fighter pilot, as we see it come up, is going to push them right back in. The Cento should fall. There's the first. Saints is under pressure, and this is where his teammates can go out. He actually picks up the kill, and streaks use perfectly.
And it was just smart play as well from his teammates too. No one rushes out necessarily. They wait for the fighter pilot to go through, then they push the hill. The problem, however, is Echo Fox retake it almost instantly. Just a quick glance at that scoreboard. You can see Aqua 11 and 13. He was struggling a little bit more earlier on in the game. He has started to pull things back, but keep your eyes on him. Is I believe Hardpoint KD is like a 0.88 here from Stage 2, so definitely not used to seeing such low numbers from the likes of him, but you know, he's a key factor to this Echo Fox in terms of their slaying.
I mean, Aqua is one of those players that you always look at in the same light of the likes of Slasher or, you know, your Octanes. The one who just puts up stupid numbers may not always come out with the win, but those numbers aren't there right now. And Echo Fox losing to this margin, it's kind of showing. I will be quite frank with that one. However, on the flip side of things, Rated 19 and 9. He's got 1:23 in the hill and counted because he's amongst his squad as well. But so far, so good for Red Reserve. Still got a glide bomb to play with, still rotating round. And let's see if Echo Fox actually get a better rotation here going into the next hardpoint, because in all honesty, they haven't really won that rotation at all.
No, they've been out-rotated almost every single time, to be completely honest. And Rated looks as if maybe he was going to think about using that glide bomb. Ultimately falls. But still, you can see damage has very much been done. 178 to 18-9. 20 seconds still left, of course, in ventilation. And you know, if you're Red Reserve, you say, we'll give that up. We're not really too fussed about it. Let's just make sure we lock down the new hill, make sure we slay out effectively, and just keep the pressure on Echo Fox. That's all they need to do here. They can split time now for the rest of this map and be absolutely A-okay.
Well, we saw Red Reserve going off against Splice here as Temp gets a spicy little two-piece there, and Splice got back into it off 2 hardpoints. So Red Reserve there, they are vulnerable at times, but as of right now, they look pretty strong here. Joe on the outside, but Echo Fox full control.
Look on the bright side. Rated doesn't have an artillery barrage to block this time, right? His teammates may actually be able to get into the hill on the second time around. And then you see Red Reserve trying to fight straight through, and Saints left, last man pre-firing. Is he going to connect with any kills at all? The nades rain through. The pre-fire from Red Reserve just too much, and just like that, Joe with a double. Rated shuts down Facento, and Red Reserve retake control.
And Rated picks up a huge 3-piece, but it's not just the kills that he's getting here, it's the intelligence that Red Reserve are using here, because he gets 3, then sends in kind of the wild dogs that is Joe and Scraps, and yes, they kind of trade things out, but Rated staying alive, trying to work for those streaks is such a smart play, and we're seeing it so evidently in Red Reserve's gameplay here, but Zero, bit of a lone wolf towards the next hard point. We're going to see those final 7 seconds go to Red Reserve, and not really a hard point you can invest the glide bomb on. But are we going to see Red Reserve just stack through this little choke point?
See, potentially Rated could have used this glide bomb maybe 15 seconds ago when the rotation was coming through. He also gives Joe a little bit of assistance in terms of where are the opposition, because you see he's dangerously close to any streaks of his own. Doesn't matter though, picks up at least the glide bomb before falling. As Red Reserve just shy of a 100-point lead. Echo Fox, they look flat. They just do not look comfortable early on here, day 2.
No, they really don't here. They're trailing, and Red Reserve are 30 points away from sealing the deal. There's 2 glide bombs available for them. Are we going to see this finish on Storage Bunker? Absolutely not. Echo Fox are going to be able to try and get these last remaining 25 seconds. They do have the rotation, but Red Reserve, can they just use those numbers for the next 20? That's a big kill for Scraps as well, and they can start to put the pressure on Temp.
Here's the thing I love. Look at Joe. He recognizes we have such a big lead. I can be this nuisance. I can keep pushing. Even though there's only 10 seconds left, that 10 seconds puts them 10 seconds closer to closing out this map. He's just being a nuisance, just being a pain. If you're Echo Fox, you don't expect that final push to come through. Joe keeping the pressure on, basically forcing Echo Fox to respect that hill until the very end.
And it is funny, you can almost imagine Joe just be like, there's still 10 seconds, Nick.
Yeah.
If I win this 1v1, we'll be at 230 and not 220. And as time ticks away, this is where we're going to see some glide bombs. Temp should be fine and secure there, but we're going to see the pitch coming in from Red Reserve. They do get that back spawn. Now, Rated is a key player. He just needs to stay alive. Not necessarily make any kills here, but he could just do better. Joe finds another. This is where Rated's going to pinch on him. Doesn't win the gunfight, but Joe is turning up once again. 23 and 21. A 4-kill streak as he finally falls. But Red Reserve still breaking on in. These spawns have been beautiful for these guys, and Rated once again in that kill feed. 32 and 19. I want to credit Joe for the plays he's making. I want to credit Scraps. I pointed out 0 to 1 to watch, and yes, maybe not had the best of games, but these guys are winning time and time again.
Yeah, he hasn't really needed to do anything flashy, has he? He's won the gunfights that his team needed him to win. Ultimately, this game isn't going to end here on Office, as Rated once again pushes. He's going to get that plus 100, but no points come through. Echo Fox have rotated across. The glide bomb's going to come down from Joe. Ultimately, this could be the final push of the game as Joe reads Temp pretty well. Obviously, gets the call up from Scraps. The final push comes through, and just like that, Red Reserve take map 1, and that was convincing. Realistically, after the second hill in that game, Red Reserve took control, and they never, ever gave Echo Fox a chance of coming back in that map.
Yeah, and that's what they, I feel, have learned from the Splice game. They let Splice get back into it. They didn't even give Echo Fox, you know, an inch. They didn't let anything go in their favor. I really want to, and I think this is something I'll do, obviously off camera. I want to have a chat with Zero and see like how he's feeling in this new role. You know, is he okay in putting up a 0.8 as long as he's winning? I'm sure he's all right as long as they get the W, but rated at a positive 14. Everything seems to be working for Red Reserve now, and so far so good. And I just hope Zero doesn't kind of take the stats too much on himself, because there's only so many kills on the map. And yes, it'd be great if he could hit neutral to win by even more. But again, is he just uncomfortable? I'm yet to find out. I'm gonna have a chat with him.
It's an interesting role though that he's kind of adopted, because I mean, you kind of pointed out the play when Rated was kind of baiting out his team a little bit just to see if he could overlap his streaks.
Yeah.
Zero's the first one, kind of just flying in, pre-firing. If he gets any amount of damage down, that's a positive thing. He's helping Rated get towards those streaks. And ultimately, I think, you know, Zero's an experienced player at this point now. You should kind of respect that, hey, we're winning when I'm doing this. I don't need to change anything up. Admittedly, yes, okay, if they come up against, you know, maybe a Rise Nation and they blow them out the water, then maybe it's, all right, well, it works against some teams, but maybe this style won't work against everyone. Obviously, we won't know until we get to see them more than likely at Stage 2 playoffs, hopefully, of course, for the boys at Red Reserve. Still, by no means is that a guarantee, but with the way they're playing, I think they should be in everyone's top 4 right now.
I think so. Again, it's just how far can this Red Reserve lineup actually go? I think they're, you know, top in Europe by a little bit here. And, you know, we're just seeing what they can do at nibbling at the heels of some of the American players. So that man on your screen, obviously the recent addition of Scraps, definitely helps Red Reserve. There's no argument about that. I think he's definitely in the talks of best player in Europe. And it's kind of crazy because he's, you know, the new member of that kind of top tier. And I've got to say, just him as a player, you know, not what he just does on the map, but, you know, for his team, the morale, he's always smiling, always having some fun. It's really important to have that in a team, especially, you know, if you have someone, you know, maybe who isn't having as much fun, like, say, Zero, social media-wise, he's saying, you know, I'm just not playing well, I'm just not doing it. It's important to have Scraps next to you, because he'll be the first to go. Zero, we won the map. You know, next one, do your thing. He'll say it in a probably different accent, but
I was gonna say he's gonna say it in a very different accent. I think there might be a tad more banter involved there as well. He's a pretty funny guy, that's for sure. And you know, you mentioned the energy levels as well. You know, for the longest period of time, whenever Red Reserve kind of sat and played, of course, you know, Josh would get a little loud, but it's normally Rated. He's the one that you'll hear the majority of the time. Scraps is no mouse himself. He can be pretty loud at times. You'll hear him probably occasionally through our headsets, at least. We hear him loud and clear from where we're casting from. But now, of course, we head over to a Game 2, USS Texas Search and Destroy. You look at the map counts, really nothing too interesting to say. Red Reserve have played it once, won it once. Echo Fox played it once, lost it once. So, again, not a lot of data to go. Of course, these are records done just for Stage 2 so far. Shout out to Revan for grinding out those numbers behind scenes. I'm sure he had some help from the guys over at COD Stats as well. So, some useful numbers for us as casters, and hopefully for you guys sat at home as fans and spectators. But as we said, the data pool really not massive, Phil, so still anyone's game.
Yeah, it really is. But Red Reserve, they've already seen success on it, and they've just had a very, very strong start to the series. If you're a betting man, you'd be leaning towards the boys on Red. However, different game mode, different pacing by a mile here, as we do see Joe. He's going to get first blooded. The bomb does go down, so something that Red Reserve can take away from that. The next kill is crucial. It's going to go Red's favor. Oh, Aqua takes Zero off of that back position here with a sniper, and now down to a 3v1.
Yep, Scraps all by himself. He knows Vicento has fallen, so that's the sniper player from Echo Fox. Now he just needs the information, finds the first player. Of course, 24 seconds left on the clock. Is anyone going to push? Scraps playing it so slow, so methodical. Saints, meanwhile, just waiting cautiously, and Scraps may just get the information he needs there just based off sound and audio cue, if nothing else. 10 seconds left. He checks bomb. Beautiful play from Scraps. 7 seconds left. All he needs to do is just jiggle peek it one more time just to make sure he didn't get unlucky timing. Doesn't matter that he falls. That was a majestic 1v3.
And as well, I want to point out the kind of the balls that Scraps had there, because he basically said, I'm going to stay up here. If I go down, I'm probably going to lose a gunfight. I'm just going to kind of just be a betting man and go, nah, they didn't jump on it. They're probably both looking at me from different directions. I'm going to stay up here. I'm going to waste the time. And there's a technical 1v3.
And we're talking about a player who so far throughout Stage 2 has a 1.78.
Not bad.
That's his search KD. And, you know, when you're pulling off 1v3s like that, Red Reserve going to have all the confidence. On the flip side, Vicento, pretty poor numbers so far. 0.52 is his search. And that's surprising to me, is You know, someone who's watched Vicento play for so many years. He's been a phenomenal search player, but there he is, getting first blooded. And it begs the question, why is no one respecting that bottom middle from Echo Fox? Joe just had full license to push straight up, gets an angle, and gets first blood on Vicento. That just seems maybe a bit lazy, if nothing else.
Zero may have changed his playstyle in Hardpoint, but his search and destroy, still rocking that sniper. Look at the aggression here. That's a 2v4 now. I'd like to see Zero get amongst this here, even just to be a bit of bait here. With the sniper rifle hit marker comes in on Joe, grenade should be there to follow. And we've actually seen 2 nades. So now it's a 1v2. Temp is at the back with a sniper, but here he is, putting up the important kills. That's going to be Zero, and he's going to give Scraps the defuse here.
And you called it out perfectly. Zero was just waiting to see if there was anyone else that could potentially challenge him. As soon as his teammate gets that kill, he pushes up to the bomb. They know exactly where the final player is going to be with the sniper rifle, of course, and finds the easy pick. Red Reserve, again, another slow, methodical round, which just works out in their favor. Now, of course, with the 2-0 lead here in Map 2, USS Texas.
Red Reserve kicking things off nicely here. Interesting to see how the first bloods work out in round 3, because Joe's been a part of both of them, both in gaining that first blood and dropping for the first blood. But how's he going to play round number 3? It looks like he's going aggressive.
For a minute there, I thought they might line up. Get a cheeky little collat. Nothing comes through yet. The first smoke gets thrown out. Are we going to see any nades? Respected doesn't even need it. Aqua, the easy pick there on Rated, who falls for first blood. 4v3 advantage Echo Fox. However, you still have Zero with that sniper looking for anything. If his team can get the bomb down, potentially Red Reserve may have a chance of still winning this round.
Zero needs to stay up here. That bomb isn't going down just yet, but Zero and Temp having a bit of a snipe off. As we've seen Scraps jump back and forth here with that bomb.
Bear in mind, he's baited out 2 nades there.
Yeah.
Just from diving back and forth. So in terms of utility, Echo Fox are definitely going to be low, but speaking of being low, it's Red that are very low on time. As once again, he's just baiting, see if Zero could find any angle. But if you're Temp, you recognize I don't really need to slow peek this at all, but the weapon has been found. Zero, can he hit the shot? Of course he can. Now it's a 3v3 with bomb down.
Nicely done here, and calmly done with a sniper shot there, and all Scraps diving away. It looks like Joe's gone back for more. He's going to fall to Aqua, and now it's up to Zero and Scraps. The bomb in a position for Zero to maybe take advantage of.
Here's the problem. Zero has to keep eyes on the bomb, but he also has to worry about the flank too. He has no information whatsoever. The bomb more than likely going to be stretched, and it's going to force Zero's hand. If you're Echo Fox, you just stick on the bomb. All you have to do. Zero not necessarily too close to streaks as he looked to just hit a miracle shot. Not going to happen, and Echo Fox respond with a round of their own.
And that's what happens when you're forced to plant the bomb on that side, because you can kind of drag that bomb to the back of it, so you can't be sniped. So, interesting game plan there from Red Reserve. They tried initially to go for that outside bomb plant, but Aqua was the one to take them off of that. But Red Reserve still in the lead, just by 1 round here.
Saints as well, who's having the big performance here for Echo Fox. 5-1 thus far. We'll take a look at Vicento off the rip, and this time, yeah, he is going to look bottom middle just to see if Joe's going to go for another cheeky little rush straight through. Doesn't look like there's going to be much presence there, though, for Red Reserve so far, as Temp now trying to push up over towards this A site. Of course, double snipes for the boys at Echo Fox. Zero looking to pick anyone up off the cross. He's going to spot Aqua. Does he pull the trigger? He does. Not going to connect, though.
Oof, tried twice there, unsuccessful. Very hard shot to make. Zero's tagged him up, and he'll be calling that one out. And Aqua, beautiful. You got away with it once. You got away with it twice. But you're feeding the beast that is Zero right now. More grenades coming up and coming over.
More importantly, they know they had Temp stuck, but Rated actually falls, and Vicento's trying to be sneaky, pushing up with a sniper rifle. Goes for a pretty ambitious shot, not going to connect, and with 27 seconds left, Vicento has to get away with his life here because bomb is over, of course, towards that A side. There's no point in him uselessly giving away his life, and Joe gets so unfortunate that doesn't find the pick, somehow does stay alive, and you can see instantly Echo Fox forced to rotate over back towards that B side.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate here because I believe Joe was probably 1 shot away from making that, and again, Scraps 1 shot away from making that kill. 2 versus 3 here. Echo Fox blessed a little bit. However, they acted very, very promptly. They made the switch over. Vicento with a beautiful snipe, and this is going to be a deserving round here for Echo Fox. Scraps already pulled off a 1v3 this time, though. He needs to find the defuse. A little bit too much.
Yeah, time's massively against him. Just 20 seconds left, and really, in the situation he was relying on his teammate finding the pick on Facento. That just makes it maybe a little bit more possible, of course, because the sniper can watch that bomb from just so far away. Sadly, not going to be the case as Echo Fox respond with another round here in the Search and Destroy, just to keep things interesting.
I think Red will be quite frustrated with that round, if I'm being completely honest. They had the opportunities to make the kills. They were unfortunate not to pick those up, but Echo Fox, they
think about it.
Well.
Joe gets that kill on the A site. It's a completely different round. They probably ultimately win it because that was bomb carrier at the time as well.
Exactly.
But just that extra bullet, and then of course the engagement down low. Scraps could have made at the time I believe it was the beginning of the 1v3. Could have traded out, maybe made it a 1v2. Would have allowed him to play a little bit more aggressive because you know Facento's going to be at the back with the sniper rifle. So essentially you isolate a 1v1 on the B site. But of course hindsight's a wonderful thing, and of course luck as well. But as we stand, it's still 2-2 with Echo Fox on the defensive.
We're standard here. Smoke to block off A. It's going to lure in a couple of throwables. Joe's going to lob a nade over. It's going to hit Temp right in the face. Bomb yet to be pushed up onto the A site.
I'm pretty sure they were looking for the perfect timing where Temp gets stunned and Zero is going to try and peek him at the exact same time because they know, of course, he hasn't been using that armored class. He's walking that snipe. Aqua being aggressive. He's pushed all the way through, and they need to turn around. They should be expecting that. The trade comes through. 3v3. Bomb, of course, still planted, and more importantly, Zero still alive. And he gets a little bit of information there on Facento down low, going for an impressive shot on Temp. Not going to connect, but Facento's still going to be there. Temp waiting for the perfect shot, but the perfect shot may not come. It's now, of course, a 2v3.
This is the difficult situation because, yes, Zero's in a great position, but you got to hit those bullets. Rated, he should be taken down here. He will be taken down. That's an important kill. And now a 1v1. And we're going to see Facento. He does get the defuse. It was so close to being a triple for Zero at the back there.
You have to feel bad because he gets the first shot blind, and he must think that's more than likely the diffuser, right?
Yeah.
The player that's going to be closest to the bomb. Little did he know, he was acting as pretty much just body blocking, if nothing else there. So nicely done from Echo Fox as they win 3 rounds in a row. Red Reserve looking to respond now on the defensive side of things.
And I think as well, Aqua kind of pushing bottom mid and pushing out. I think the best Red could have hoped for then was only losing 1, but
yeah,
it could have been a lot worse. If Aqua picked up that first blood around the back, that round would have been over a lot sooner. Whew. Scraps just testing his luck.
Teasing, if nothing else. Just waiting for any form of peek, and of course, Echo Fox did plant the bomb at B last round in their attack, but it Scraps that locks down bottom middle. Saints will fall for first blood, and Echo Fox, as they slowly start a rotation over towards the A site, just making sure it's clear. Of course, 3v3 on Miz, 40 seconds still to play.
Big kill from Rated once again. Grenades coming in. The bomb's actually headed towards B, so that's an interesting play. That's going to be a no-scope attempt from Temp. And Joe laughs in the face of that one.
I respect the effort, though. Right? What else can you really do in those situations? As Aqua now in the 1v3, he's been spotted. More than definitely, he's been called out. Zero actually going to fall there. He looks as if he was just trying to get to the back of the map to play his life. His 2 teammates have perfect vision, though, on both A and B. Realistically, there should be no chance whatsoever of a clutch. And just as I say that, the kill comes through. Ultimately, Zero's life meaningless.
Yeah, I do think Zero should have really stayed alive in that position. Yes, it's a 1v3. Yes, it's a position where Rated is in a great spot, but if things were different there, you know, that early pick, that's the thing that would just get out of hand. Aqua makes a 1v1 with another player, and you're like, oh, okay. But nevertheless, Rated, very vocal, as you can see here, but coming up clutch once again. He was a superstar in map number 1. I think it was 32 and 19, maybe.
Yep. A very, very solid performance from him, that's for sure. And, you know, 4 and 5 right now. Sitting pretty. He's going to be using or carrying the bomb this round. See if he's going to be able to get a plant and get close, of course, towards those streaks. But it's Aqua that picks up the first double. Rated and Joe both fall, and Red Reserve, now they're fighting 2 men down. Make that 1 or 3 men down. Scraps 1v4. Not going to happen. And I love the change of tempo there from Echo Fox. Just a little bit more aggressive there. Of course, Aqua picks up a double for first blood, and instantly the round is theirs.
Yeah, and Aqua was obviously so far pushed up. He got aggressive on the defense. He didn't need to do that, but he reaps the rewards here in taking down Red Reserve. And now Red will be behind by 1 in the search and destroy. I've got a feeling we're going to be seeing that round 10 and 11, though. It's so back and forth between these two teams.
Aqua definitely the superstar so far here at Stage 2 for Echo Fox in search. A 1.35 KD coming into today. And an 8-5 performance here begs the question, what happens if he doesn't go off?
Yeah.
What do those search and destroys look like? Do they have anyone to pick up the slack? Those questions we may find answered in the latter parts of the week here at Stage 2, Division A. In round 8, though, still waiting for first blood to come through. Still 4v4, of course. It is Echo Fox on the attacking side and Aqua with a bomb. Again, if you can get that plant down, get close towards some streaks.
1 minute to go. Temp edging his way forward with a sniper. On the other side of things, Zero's waiting. Nothing going down just yet. Now we see the throw balls. That's intel.
That's a lot of intel. Aqua dives across now. Zero has to be careful because if Temp slow peaks, Rated may actually fall for first blood. The bomb, of course, is going down. Rated nothing to actually throw because he's already used his nade for the round. Looks like the first smoke is going to be thrown.
That's a great shot by Zero onto the bomb. Aqua's behind that bomb site. It's a headshot from the sniper.
I'll tell you what, that was almost another nice shot there as well.
Zero just bunny hopped over a bullet, I'm pretty sure.
Oh no.
That's a kill, which, yes, I was going to say you need to make. He does make it, and again, Zero coming up with another great shot onto Fazento. He was in a 1v3, but Zero, he's starting to get his groove back, and we're going to see him pick up the defuse after getting 2 kills that round. Now sits 7-5.
That round almost got a little interesting, though. Some windy shots, let's just say.
They're on a boat, Ben.
Yeah, that's true. There is a lot of wind. You can see the flags moving, so I guess we'll allow it just this once. But as it stands, Red Reserve with that win tie things up once again. 4-4, these two teams practically inseparable here in map 2. As it stands, it is Red Reserve now back on the attacking side, Rated with bomb. We'll see if anyone is going to go for that quick bottom mid push. It's something which we've seen both Red and Echo Fox do. Saints already gets map control. Is he going to push through? He could find 2-3 players here potentially. And Saints does just that, finds the first, watches the B cross. Now all of a sudden Red Reserve, they're in a whole world of pain.
That grenade's interesting there because he snipes Joe. Sorry, he snipes Rated. He knows Joe's there. It just wasn't really the best of timings for Red Reserve.
It's one of those annoying rounds, right? Because to watch, it makes them look almost a little silly.
Yeah.
Really, doesn't it? But little do they know the information that Saints sees Joe cross, which is exactly why he knows where to throw the nade, and Saints, as soon as he turns the corner, knows to pre-fire. Just a little unfortunate in the way their timings worked there that round, but Echo Fox make it look easy, and now they put themselves at map point. Echo Fox 5-4 up, but can they close it out and tie things up 1-1 in the series?
Okay, so Red Reserve down but not out. Obviously, the defense has been a lot more successful here. Red Reserve will be going into this, trying to push that round 11, of course. Fazento still rocking that sniper. Temp's actually running the sniper as well. So we've got a double sniper set up here.
Just curious to see if that may come back and bite them. Of course, double snipes sometimes a little too slow, especially when you're on the attacking side. Don't get me wrong, if you get bombed down, though, you're Gucci. You can watch so many different angles, and it should almost be impossible for the other team to defuse the bomb unless they take those sniper fights. But time is ticking. Of course, you hear the tacticals and nades being launched out and thrown, still waiting for that first blood. And of course, Echo Fox, they're the ones that have to plant the bomb here. If you're Red Reserve, you just watch those crosses, watch those angles, don't give anything away. This round is yours to force to round 11.
And I think Red know that. Red are just waiting for Echo Fox to make the move. Echo Fox have been quite present over towards the B-bomb site, though, so it looks like they're going for that one once again. There is one player down low. Scraps picks up Aqua. Grenade. That's a double-time grenade as well onto the bomb.
That is just such smart play from Joe. Recognizing I don't need to peek. There's 2 snipers on the other team. If I peek, I die. Let me just make sure I get the right correct angle to challenge the bomb where I can't be picked off. They, of course, get bomb down. Will they have time to plant, though? That's the question. With that gunfight, surely not. Oh, my
Makes the kill.
Lord.
That's all he needed.
I thought he was going to find the snipe kill before, of course, the player planting fell, but not the case. And another good round there from Red Reserve. They force round 11 here in map 2. And exactly.
If you got that bomb down, that would have been nuts.
would have been a little, maybe too close for comfort. Now the big question is who's on the attack and who's on the defense, Phil?
Let's find out. On the defense, it is Echo Fox here. Red Reserve. And you know what? Echo Fox's defensive rounds have been very quick in success. You know, they win them quickly. Red Reserve, what are they going to change up here? I feel like the playmaker, or the shot caller, will be making a decision quickly.
And if you're Echo Fox, you can almost kind of bet more than likely they're going to head over towards A, because the B pushes from Red Reserve, the last 3 we've seen, haven't really been too successful, and Echo Fox have sniffed them out. So what Echo Fox do, smart, they heavy stack B just in case at the very beginning, and then instantly rotate back over towards the A side. Bomb, however, is being planted. Can they get it down and get away with a life? Temp flies and finds Raider, but Bomb did go down. Now a 4v3 in favor of Echo Fox.
Well, 2 players behind Bomb. The problem is they can hope that defuse very, very quickly.
Come on,
Joe's in a pretty good position. In fact, no, I'm getting completely mixed up with the sides here, but 30 seconds left, 3v4. No one on the bomb. Joe's on a full flank, and Zero goes down by the snipe.
Facenta recognize it. Saints has to challenge. He does. Scraps. 1v4. Eat your heart out. Surely not going to happen. Players defusing the bomb. He must know it. Nothing he can do. And Echo Fox use brute force and numbers to their advantage. And they win the round 11 to tie things up 1-1 in the series.
Again, defensive victory on USS Texas. It doesn't come as a surprise. Raid's shaking his head. I think for those guys as well, and I'd kind of like to go back and see how many attacking rounds were actually won. I don't think it was many, but Red Reserve, they're going to have to regain. They've got 2 respawns coming up in CTF and Hardpoint, but a very close S&D, as expected, really, with these 2 teams.
Very, very close indeed. Of course, it goes the distance. Round 11 doesn't get much closer than that, apart from maybe a 1v1, which would have been nice. But Scraps, of course, left in the 1v4. Really not much he could do there. But what a series to kick things off here. Day 2, week 2. Here it's Division A, stage 2 of the Call of Duty World League presented by PlayStation 4. The score currently tied 1 map apiece. When we return, we're heading over to capture the flag. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty World League presented by PlayStation 4. It's the first game of the day here at Day 2, Red Reserve versus Echo Fox. And we are all tied up heading into Game 3, which is going to be CTF on Flag Tower. Benson joined by the wonderful Momo. And I mean, you can see how the series has gone thus far. Without Hardpoint, to be honest, the scoreline could have even been a little more brutal there in Red Reserve's favor. But Game 2 goes the distance to around 11. And Phil, we were just kind of saying in that commercial break, we could both see this one going the full Game 5 distance.
Yeah, I think Red Reserve, they're on form. They're doing great stuff. And Echo Fox had a tough loss yesterday. But Echo Fox, they have that ability. They can turn up against any team in Division A, and I think we could see it here. Settling on a Game 5, of course, it'd be great to see, but let's get into the action. CTF on the Flak Tower. I was about to say London Docks there, but absolutely not. We're high in the sky, and we're on board with Vicento. STG in hand, and just lurking around the outskirts here. Rated, though. A beautiful headshot onto him as Saints answers back.
Yep. Just to talk briefly at the beginning 30 seconds of this one. Really not much going on. Both teams have played this map 3 times here at Stage 2. For Echo Fox, they've won it twice. Red Reserve, they've only won it once. They'll look to try and tie up their map count here in this one. Saints patiently waits for scraps, finds the pick, and now all of a sudden could shift into a new gear here as they try and push out, get a little bit of map control. The problem is, it's Red Reserve that are just being a nuisance, controlling mid-map as Rated refuses to fall here. Saints trying to pick up the kill desperately.
See, Red Reserve have been pretty solid at this map since their loss to Epsilon. It's interesting to kind of see how that went about and how they actually fell to them on this map. But nevertheless, sometimes on Flag Tower, you're going to see 6-7 minutes without a flag. Not today. Scraps and the boys of Red Reserve are going to put in a flag that comes in from Joe. He might have changed roles, but he's still that flag runner.
And it's worth mentioning that all came from the fact that Rated had such good mid-map presence. He was picking up the kills and ultimately was allowing Joe to just pull the flag and run home sweet home for the early 1-0 lead. Now, though, it seems like Echo Fox, they're going to be on the aggression, on the aggressive side at least, as Rated puts himself into a cheeky little corner, but to no avail. Zero now left in a 1v4. Can he at least delay the flag? Vicento says, not today, my friend, but look at the OE. Is Joe going to be quick enough to get around the corner? Dolphin dives, weak. Teammate looking to pick up the kill, and that's a big win from Scraps. Now it opens up Joe to go clutch or even go for a counter pull.
Joe saw him. Joe saw him. There's 3 down, and this could be a counter pull. He finds the flag, and now Scraps and the boys of Red Reserve, they're going to pile up on Temp. They're going to try and close him down. The return doesn't come in. And oh my goodness, you thought it was 3 down for Red Reserve, for Echo Fox. I beg my pardon. But there we go. Echo Fox, they clutch up. Now, it was a couple of situations there, just to kind of break it down, where Red Reserve could have gone for the safe play. They could have gone for take the flag away, play the stalemate, and send one in, but they went for that return. It doesn't pan out for them, and we are going to see things tie up.
I think the problem was Joe wanted the return to get the extra point, so when he capped the flag, he may have actually got streaks as well.
Yeah.
So ultimately, rather than just running bottom middle, he put himself in a more vulnerable position, just trying to get the extra points. Of course, you don't expect your teammates all to fall at the same time. No one would, but Echo Fox clutch up defensively, and now we have ourselves a tied game. Saints with some crispy shots top mid. He's kicked off this CTF at 7-3 on a 2 streak of his own. But once again, it's that man Joe just being a nuisance, being the thorn in Echo Fox's side.
It's funny because Joe, for Stage 1 and his stat line and the way that he played and what he put up, really was kind of a player which people looked at and went, should he be on this team? From Stage 2 alone, I've watched Joe and I've watched Rated. Those are the 2, if Scraps as well. Yeah, Zero's had a bit of a poor Stage 2. These 3 players, they seem in their finest form right now.
Yep, they most definitely do. Scraps keeps the flag alive. Worth mentioning a wonderful glide bomb usage from Echo Fox, but Scraps hits the nice shots, and more importantly, can he get away? The teammate support's going to be there. Zero has him covered, and just like that, Red Reserve keep the flag alive, run it home, and Scraps is going to get full streak.
And Scraps is just shouting the deepest and roariest voice. He's just shouting and grunting on that main stage right now. But and that's the hype you need. You know, when you make a big play and your teammate is revving you up like that, look at this. Score streak's coming in, not even, my God, no. Never mind.
And that's one of those situations where you want to just trust Joe to win that gunfight. Go for the players off spawn. Yes, they'll have a little bit of spawn protection, but at least you can do a bit more damage, of course.
It's okay. It's okay.
Team kill comes through. It is okay, but you would have liked, you know, when you invest something like a glide bomb, you would have liked to at least get the flag away, but that pressure's still there. And Scraps ultimately pulls the flag once again towards his team. Number 5, Vicento, the only man who can put a stop to this, ultimately does, and gets the return, a big play from Vicento.
And again, Vicento spawned in this middle green, and the reason being is those 3 players for Red Reserve, they were blocking every spawn. If I'm being completely honest with you right now, Red Reserve should be winning this probably 4-1. However, there's been a few occasions where they've got a little bit overzealous. They've got a little bit too much, if you like. And it's got out of hand. However, score streak's going to be called in. The flag's running home. Number 8, Temp, is the last one alive. Finds himself a double negative. 0 slicing the map in half here as he has the support. And 3-1 going into the second half. It could be worse for Echo Fox, and it could be better for Red Reserve, but that has been a very solid performance for Red.
Yeah, Red, of course, they use the fighter pilot as well, just to confirm the flag, and it's a good usage, right? You now have a 2-flag cushion. Wonderful performance in the first half there from the Red Reserve lads. Can they keep it going, though? Echo Fox, they showed glimmer of life, some signs of life. Of course, Vicento making some good defensive plays, but can he convert them now onto the attacking side of things? That's what Echo Fox need. They need flags. You can't win a game of CTF just based on your defensive capabilities.
Okay. So, heading in. 5 more minutes on the clock. Echo Fox down. Can we just cycle through Red Reserve, see what streaks we've got over there?
Should just be one left, the mortars.
Okay, so interesting that they go for the mortar and not the artillery barrage, but don't think that'll be too influential. Of course, we've seen things happen with it before, but look at this. Red Reserve on the defense here. They really don't want to push out. They really don't want to get aggressive, and they don't need to right now, but you don't want to turtle up in your base.
It's more, I think, Joe just trying to play for some streaks, and there was one other player from Red close to streaks as well, who I believe may actually be 0, who is still alive. So if you're going to go for that kind of start, to your point, if you're going to turtle up a little bit, you have to make sure you get the streaks, right? Worst case scenario, you're so defensive, you just absorb so much pressure. Echo Fox are almost instantly in your base, which is kind of what happened there. You see Saints putting some pressure down. Maybe you want another 1v1. Could have tried to get the flag away, but luckily enough for Red Reserve, they can kind of take a big, deep breath and push up the map themselves as Zero's getting a little sneaky.
Yeah, and what has happened is a minute has passed. That 5 is now 4, and Red Reserve are still in the lead by 2. So Echo Fox, they need to get things rolling here. Rated having another great game here, currently 12 and 10. Joe and Zero equally on 12, but Death's a little fewer. Scraps leading in both kills, and Death with 26 interactions, so a very positive CTF for him. But time's still ticking here, and Echo Fox, they are starting to muster up the kills, but it's that second wave that they're struggling on.
This definitely is, and Temp trying to get a little ambitious there, and ultimately works out in his favor. He shuts down Scraps, but he has to know Red Reserve are going to be hunting him down, and just like that, ultimately falls. Aqua now trying to just push through, but he needs to be careful because Red Reserve, they're going to be coming off spawn almost in a few seconds. All 4 players from Red will be up and trying to defend their base. Vicento goes for a pinch, but again, they're just not timing these pushes well enough. It seems like a couple of players from Echo Fox go through, they pick up a couple of kills, they fall. Then the other 2 players push in. They're not doing it as a full unit, and the spawn cycle from Red Reserve, it's just coming in every 7.5 seconds, right? They're going to spawn up, and they're going to slow down that aggressive push. Echo Fox need one big, well-timed push with all 4 players being alive if they want to try and get the Red Reserve's flag out.
And I think this is an example of Red Reserve when all 4 players are on the same page. Hardpoint, we had 0, you know, little lackluster, not in CTF. Everyone's playing really strongly here for Red Reserve. Echo Fox, I'm trying to think, you know, what is it they can do differently? What is it that they're maybe doing wrong here? And it is just shutting down those kind of dominant players on Red Reserve. They're not getting the map control that they need, and they are constantly trading things out. And every kill that goes down for Red Reserve, Scraps is yelling, roaring, nice, nice, keep going, boys, keep going. It's like a cheerleader. It's that 5th man. It's like the coach that they can't have right now. But Scraps, he's a vocal player for sure. And he's 19 and 13 as well.
That's probably the easiest kill Joe's ever going to get in his career. Kills Saints, and Joe actually gets a 3-piece. Starts with the... Oh, he gets all 4! Disgusting stuff from Joe. Started with the easiest kill, and then, of course, 3 very, very impressive ones where Echo Fox were trying to hunt him down, but nicely done by Joe, and instantly you can see the aggressive decision from Scraps. Drop the glide bomb, picks up a kill as well. 2 more players fall, and Joe, essentially in a 2v2, or what is now a 1v2, decides to counterpull the flag.
He doesn't care. He's pulling that all day long. He'll just run around in circles, have some fun. And now it's up to the boys. Red Reserve to make the play. 0 goes down. That's big here for Echo Fox. The flag is coming home here, but Aqua in the middle. That's a brilliant kill there from Aqua. Scraps looking to pick up the flag. Not going to happen, and this will be A closer game with a minute left on the clock. And Raiders just fell as well. This could be a relay.
Oh, Zero with a big win on temp, but there's going to be more pressure there. Placenta wins the gunfight, traded out instantly from Joe off respawn. A 1 flag game with just over 60 seconds to play.
Here we go, Echo Fox. They need to make something happen just to tie up this map. They've been down and nearly out here the majority of the CTF.
And bear in mind how close Saints is to Streak. Saints, but right now, is the key player. If he's able to find a kill, even touch the flag, maybe make something happen with Streaks. The problem is time is ticking. Teammates are falling. Trades out once. That scraps, but instantly has to back away. Full red. 3 of his teammates full. He's the last man standing. 40 seconds is enough time. If he can stay alive, at least get a streak. Gets a glide bomb. This is phenomenal play from Saints. Off spawn, he is going to need to use that instantly if his teammates can win a couple of kills just to keep that pressure on Red Reserve.
And I like what Red's doing here. They're pushing out because all these deaths, yes, Zero's just gone down, Scraps has gone down, everything's gone down. But they're going to spawn up in time to defend their flag, and that's the key here because... Oh, that's a big kill onto Joe. Flag should be out. No, Zero's going to be able to shut that down. 14 seconds left. Flag needs to be returned. Scraps staying alive, being that X factor for his squad right now. See Saints, he's going to be taken out and now traded by Joe with 4 seconds left. No one's got the flag. Joe and Zero coming in clutch. Flag will be returned and Red Reserve are going to finish the CTF strong here. But Ben, that was maybe a little closer than we imagined it would be at the end of the first half. Saints looking for those streaks. It was a key part of it, but simply not enough.
I'll tell you what, Saints played that final 45 seconds damn near perfect. A wonderful play from him. 2 people shooting at him from 2 different angles. Decides, let me take the highest percentage gunfight I can. Jumps out the window, gets the kill, gets a glide bomb. And for a second there, it looked as if Echo Fox were going to be able to pull that flag out and force OT. Sadly, though, not the case. Red Reserve, again, coming off spawn cycle. They're able to just keep trading, if nothing else. For a minute, I was worried that they weren't actually going to return the flag in time. And we were going to go to that extra 60 seconds, and Echo Fox may have been able to make another play there. But luckily, the flag does get returned, and Red Reserve have a 2-1 lead in the series.
Take a deep breath. That was a close, tight ending towards a CTF. And Red Reserve may be thinking in the back of their head, should have been a 3-0 again.
Yeah.
They've been in this position. However, when they were in this position last, they closed it out in 4. Hardpoint's coming up next. And if we're judging it by map 1, they were pretty strong on it. Maps do kind of have gone from my head. It might be Forest. It could be Docks. I don't even know what it is. But I'm going into this Hardpoint, and I'm thinking Red Reserve should close this out in 4. They've been the better team on CTF. They were way better in that first Hardpoint. S&D's a completely different pace game, but Red seem the better team right now.
So you would say should close it out, but often things never go the way they should, right? And you could well see Echo Fox force that Game 5. Of course, we'll take a look at the series and what other maps we have still to come, because just like you, my mind is completely gone for what map 4 and 5 is. I was so excited at the end. I forgot everything else. Luckily, though, our production team on top of things. Shout out to them. London Docks Hardpoint Game 4, followed by a Saint Marie Dumont Search and Destroy. Obviously, we'll talk about the Hardpoint primarily. We'll obviously touch on the S&D if it goes the distance. But, you know, we talk about London Docks as a game type for both of our 2 teams. Echo Fox 1-1, Red Reserve 0-1. But I'm pretty sure if memory serves, when Red Reserve played this last, they got completely blown out.
It's funny because stage 1, this was the map Red Reserve were like 10-0 on.
They were
and they were kind of nuts on it. Then they started getting challenged by a couple of the top tier teams. They started getting blown out. Then we had Seattle. And roster change went down, so completely different. I know. But starting to feel the heat is temp on the main stage right now. 1 map away from another loss. That'd be difficult to take, to say the least.
That's a very clever pun, Phil.
I try. I do try.
Very clever. Very clever indeed. I was just trying to think that the turning point for Red Reserve on this map this season, was it when LG actually allowed the map to go through? Because there was a time where everyone banned it out because they knew Red Reserve were so good at it, and someone let it through and said, no, we'll play them on it, and they 100-point clubbed Red on it.
Yeah.
I want to say it was LG, but I may be mistaken.
I have a feeling it was LG or Optic, and the reason being it was to the stage where it was like, yeah, we've qualified for playoffs, we've got an event around the corner, we want to get a few reps on it, we want to try it out, and they went for it and they just bodied them, and it was like, oh, okay. Maybe Red have been, banned so much on it that they didn't get the practice that they need on it. But regardless, we're going into London Docks Hardpoint, and again, it'll be interesting to see if they can close it out in 4. Their respawn has been strong here for Red Reserve overall.
You feel like it's these series, though, where you want to see Red Reserve close them out just for kind of more comfortable sake, right? Their own mental health, if nothing else. Because those game 5s, they're so stressful for players.
And they've got another game later on.
Exactly.
So you want to get this done in 3, done in 4. You go 5 games here and you get pushed to 5 games in your second series. It's endurance, to say the least. And these guys are used to it. Those open events prepare them very, very well. But beautiful Sky Camp, guided by Parasite in the back here, is going to look like Echo Fox taking full control of the statue.
Got Parasite in the back, do we, Phil?
Yeah, guest appearance. You know what? That's like the 7th time I call him Parasite. Listen, I just called him an ex-world champion, okay?
Fair enough. Black Ops 2 world champ.
Paradox.
Through, yeah. Paradox is, hey, he's pretty good at COD. Not sure whether he could be a, Black Ops 2 world champ, but
he's not that good.
Nah, probably not. I don't think anyone really was that good at the time, at least. But we digress. Echo Fox with the early lead here as they control statue for the first 27 seconds. The contest is going to come through. The kills as well for Red Reserve. Keep your eyes on the minimap, I should say. It's Red Reserve with a favorable spawn for now. See, 2 players have already rotated. That's going to be Rated and Joe. Meanwhile, Zero being aggressive, trying to lock down Cole, but that's a big, big problem for Red Reserve. Echo Fox get the kills in transition, and all of a sudden, Joe could be in a world of pain, but he finds a double and almost a get-out-of-jail-free card there for Red Reserve.
Yeah, but it's Joe getting himself out of jail. He's not getting any help here. He's made 2 big kills. He's putting the numbers on the board. I feel Zero should have done a little better when he was in this position, but he gets taken out, and now Echo Fox, they can start the pinch. Number 6 is key to this attack. It's going to be Temp, and he will pick up Joe, and this should enable Echo Fox to break through, but Zero, as I call him out for a play, he then makes a big double, and he puts the pressure on once again. So, interesting start to this hard point here on London Docks, because Echo Fox, they take all the points from the mid statue. Red Reserve have the full setup on Main Street, and then Echo Fox just break it back.
Yeah, really kind of a sloppy setup from Red Reserve. I don't think they expected the pressure to come in as quickly as it did. Ultimately, of course, we see Joe with the flashy play, and then Zero left to try and do something similar, but it is Echo Fox to pick up the majority of the time there on Main Street. Now the rotation comes through. Aqua wins a nice gunfight there on Rated. Zero there to trade out. So Red Reserve again, they've rotated first, but can they lock down the hill?
Zero's actually made some really big plays already in this map, so I hope that gives him the confidence to go on. Rated locking things down, currently 7-6, but Slaying aside, throughout all 8 plays on that main stage, pretty even, nonetheless, both in score and Slaying ability. Vicento with that STG, actually rocking a smoke, so it'll be interesting to see when that comes into play. But Red in control and back in the lead.
Yes, can they keep control though? That's the question, because the pressure is going to come through here for Echo Fox, and it's going to be led by Saints. Important to note what Red Reserve do off spawn, because note they get a split spawn. Joe spawned up top Cole side, meanwhile his teammate Rated spawned over towards Useless. It's so important that Joe stays alive here. If he wants to put pressure on the hill, his life is so much more important. But again, Joe just doing Joe-like things right now. Beautiful play with the Semtex as well. Challenges his last player. He knows he's weak. Joe, I salute you, my friend. A wonderful play. The only issue is, however, they don't have control of the spawns for the new hill.
No, he kills 4 again. That's the second time in about 3 minutes on 2 different maps here that he's done that. Joe's playing some of the best COD that he's played in a long time here, and I honestly just feel that he's so comfortable. He's on a 5-kill streak right now. He's got to regen on that health. He's got to wait for his teammates and bait them out, much like Rated did on map number 1. When was the last time you saw Joe like this? The roles change is real. Look at Zero, 6 and 10.
Right, and he knows as well. Look at him. His COD senses are tingling. Vicento's going to watch the cross, and Joe's going to get shot and shut down before any form of streaks. And it begs the question, the play he gets when he kills 3 players down at 10, he forces almost Echo Fox to spawn behind him. Was that worthwhile? Because look at the amount of points Echo Fox has been able to pick up here on Barrels Hill. The final 17 seconds look good to go to Echo Fox as well. So ultimately, in terms of the point lead, might start getting a little comfortable for Echo Fox.
So far, so good. And Joe, he's going for the scrap time on this one. And actually, 2 players are still spawning out. And killing them here, it'll be interesting because the spawn, as he does, he gets the kill, he turns around and he darts away. He puts that player on spawn once again. And that's the great thing about Joe. That 1 kill there is just delaying maybe 5-6 seconds for that player.
It's just annoying.
Yeah, it really is. He's that player which is just frustrating. It's like, Joe, why are you there? You die to him, and you're like, oh, that's frustrating. I'll just spawn up again. And you think it's a pointless kill. It's not. This guy's on an absolute tear, and I know a lot of the European pro players right now, they'll be watching this, and they'll be saying, Joe, he's playing phenomenal Call of Duty. Mr. Pennington himself.
That's what you want to see. The problem is he spawned out in Narnia. right now so far away. His teammates have to watch this cross from fire. It's going to come down to scraps, and ultimately he's going to have a lot of work to do. 3 players from Echo Fox pushing through. Meanwhile, Wraithed, bear in mind, while all this is going on, absorbing the hill time. No one from Echo Fox can even contest. Joe off spawn, sprint all the way across the map, finds himself another double, and that's the important thing to note about Joe's engagements here. It isn't necessarily just a kill trade, kill trade, kill trade. It's double kill trade, double kill trade. He's putting so much pressure onto Echo Fox that after that first half, which was, to be honest, it started off pretty scrappy for Red Reserve, they walk away with the lead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ben, how comfortable is that lead for Echo Fox right now? Over to barrel building. Red Reserve just didn't give them a chance, and that's going to be an 8 in your top pocket, buddy. Saints will be taken down by Joe here. Scraps just crawling around and shouting nice constantly. His teammates, nice, Rated, nice! As he's starting to heat up himself now. Stat-wise, 13 and 16, not the best, but it's actually Joe who's putting the numbers up, and even though Zero's neutral, I feel like he's made some really big plays and really important kills on this hardpoint.
Yep, completely agree. As Joe now springs into life in the hill, not going to find the double. It's Saints that gets a double of his own, 22 and 15. He's having a great performance as well. Obviously, we've highlighted Joe a lot, but, you know, Saints is up there, keeping the pressure on for Echo Fox. But this here, really the big play, as the hill about to rotate in 7 seconds. Red Reserve over towards Useless. Temp's going to spot the first player, and Joe guns him. That now leaves Aqua, the first man for Echo Fox around the hill. The pinch should come through. He's able to shut down Rated, but as it stands, it's ultimately Saints that was just being a nuisance mid-cut, allowing Aqua some extra time, and because of that play, his teammates spawn back Useless, and Echo Fox keep control of Main Street.
Very important play by Echo Fox there. They retain the spawns, they have the hard point, and now they have full control. Temp starting to push out. This is a good position. We'll find one. It's Saints who actually picks up that kill. And let's jump on board with Scraps, because this is a 1v1, which if he makes, can change the game. Doesn't happen though, and Red Reserve still getting that water spawn, and their lead is starting to dwindle just as much as Echo Fox's did.
Yeah, most definitely is. However, if you remember, Red Reserve, their rotation from Main Street to Lower Tim was sensational. This time they actually spawned there, so with 15 seconds left, all ready to do is jump through a window, and they are ready and waiting. The score so unbelievably close, 141 to 141. Echo Fox are going to have the tiniest of advantages as the hill rotates, and this seems the perfect time to throw to an Astro Gaming listening with Red Reserve.
2 one to new door as well, one new door as well, spawn in the ground, spawn in the ground. Close on. 2 on Reese, 2 on Reese, 2 on Reese. I'm dead, 2. 3. I'm flanking it, stay alive, stay alive. 2 more. Fire, dead. 3, let's get hill. Nice, Joe! Get boxes, Joe, get boxes.
Yeah, you got time, Reese.
I'm in low. One in fire as well, he's gonna come in.
I'll be off. Fire as well. Pull on me, Saints. Nice one, fire. You guys weak as well. Stay alive, Joe. You got your pinch, you 1v1.
It's this, outside.
Dead.
Good test. This side hill,
Big time.
I'm getting in bear.
To that side. Hold it. I want you call.
Low weak.
They're on me stairs.
Down, Joe, you can tell you, Reese. All good, spawn there.
Get back.
Hold this.
I'll hold the left.
I got 1.
2 ults.
I got 2.
Temp was in as well.
Weak 10. I spawned in.
Dead.
Nice.
More, dead.
Nice, Joe.
Mid test. How many health points?
Now.
Oh,
Free low. I've been triple naded.
Best size of me.
Free low.
I spun out.
Size this dead. One bullet in hill.
What's that?
Nice. All good. You're trying to push him back out. He's yellow barrel.
Weak front, dead.
Nice.
You know what?
I'm gonna call.
Tin, absolute base dead. Tin. Let's get dead. Let's get ill. Let's go.
Back quick. I'm picking back the
Red train. He's spawned
Two, I got one.
Train.
We can know.
Ramp.
Next spun gate.
They
I
go.
need it. Didn't hit anything.
Gonna challenge.
Yeah, good.
Gate, watch out. Absolute challenge. Nice, I'm coming back.
Challenge me.
Wait, dead.
I'm hitting P2, I'm gonna hit P2.
I'm in 10.
Yeah, the tin Joe. This side tin Joe. Molly from fire.
That's a 10.
I'm hitting P2.
That's a 10. Aqua.
Doing fire.
I got 5.
Run back, one shot.
Fantastic communication coming out for the Red Reserve lads. I'm sure there's a couple of Americans out there that would love an interpreter when we go to some of those listening. Some very, very quick call-outs, but it's what you want to see if you're a Red Reserve fan. The score 188 to 168, a 20-point cushion. However, Phil, if you remember, Doc's Crane was Red Reserve's playground in the first rotation.
It really was. I want to touch on the communication as well. Constantly, as soon as something went wrong, Scraps was the first to say, it's all good, it's all good. And he regained that kind of, you know, the momentum in there. Also, Zero, how vocal of a player there he is under this Red Reserve squad. I never saw him like that previously. It's great to see him kind of coming into his own, and maybe that's just because he's having a bit of a better game. But Red Reserve looking strong, 30 points, make that 20 points now in the lead, as Maths is difficult, getting towards the end of the stage of Hardpoint. But don't rule out Echo Fox. We've got to talk about them. Aqua hitting 30 kills as well as Saints now, putting up big numbers on the board. Temp picking up a big double as they rotate round. This is the last 8 seconds here, and looks like Echo Fox have it.
Yeah, the continuous useless spawn just allowed them to put so much pressure on Doc's Crane, so regardless of Red Reserve actually slaying out Echo Fox, they were always there, keeping up the pressure. The problem is now we rotate over towards Statue. Of course, you never expect Red Reserve to win it here, but Echo Fox have to get the kills. They have to get some time, at least split the time, and worry about the spawn for Main Street. That's been their key to success so far in the game. The only reason they're so close in this game is because of Main Street.
And Zero makes 2 big kills whilst on the hard point, 1 into barrel building, 1 on stairs, and what's that? It's time, constantly. That's another 15 seconds for Red Reserve. At the end of it, it was pretty much traded in the slaying department, but Zero has been staying alive now for about 20 seconds. He's still on the hill, he's still making kills, finally goes down, but 25 seconds left. They can afford that. They can now set up here, and they should be able to close it out.
And that's ultimately the key decision. Scraps, however, wants to push Statue, wants to keep the pressure up. They have to make sure they do not lose control of the spawns. The kill that comes through it, Cole is massive for Sento, actually gets himself a triple kill, and that could have been potentially a mistake from Red Reserve, pushing and dedicating too many resources over towards Statue. Luckily, they get a rather close spawn. However, it's a 3v3 for the hill, make that a 3v2. Joe springs into life, forces a 1v1, doesn't win it. Saints with a double kill, and Echo Fox are still alive.
For Red Reserve, still the favorable spawns. This is questionable from Zero, going through the middle, and Joe as well, he's going to be funneled through that. He's actually going for a full flank, and this is interesting because Joe's playing the long game. He knows the timing, he has 3 players pushing through the back, but Joe is going to be caught out, he's going to be shut down, and he will have to spawn with his team. Still, 35 seconds left on this. If Red Reserve can calculate a couple of kills together, they can still get back into it. And look at this, Echo Fox, they're forced to push off that hard point, forced to push next to them, but Echo Fox, they're getting right back into this, Ben.
And keep your eyes on mid-cut. It's basically down to Aqua. If he wins that gunfight, which he does, he could rotate a little early. I'm very, very surprised to see them not kind of force that rotation. They realize, hey, Red Reserve, if they get set up kind of down lower docks towards Tinside, they're going to win this game quickly because they've been so efficient on that. Echo Fox have done a great job just to claw their way back in. 2 seconds until the new hill. Essentially, if you're Echo Fox, you got 1, max 2 pushes here to keep this game close.
Okay, so here it is. Let's break it down potentially here. The last 15 seconds. Scraps picks up 1. The kill feed traded out for Sento finds another. You're shooting your own teammates there, but traded out for Sento with 2. Raided out to Backs with a double. Look at them spawns. They're going to be funneling through that gate. And Ben, I think we see that Red Reserve are going to close this one out in 4 once again. And we'll have one final nice roll from Scraps as they finish in 4 and Red Reserve take the W. I've got to just kind of round out that, and I want to put a lot of credit onto Joe throughout the series. Yes, Rated's map 1 was incredible. The Search and Destroy was around 11, but Joe, that's some of the best COD I've seen him play in a long time.
Utterly sensational. A privilege to watch there from Joe and the Red Reserve squad as a whole. Obviously, just to touch on the final moments, I'm so surprised that we didn't see Aqua after you win the gunfight mid-cut just rotate. Red can't win on that hill anymore. The points there are kind of irrelevant almost. So yes, it keeps you close, but you have to prevent the other team from winning, and he had perfect opportunity to do so. But to your point, Red Reserve played that so well. The listening seemed like good vibes, nothing but smiles from this Red Reserve squad. It seems to me, Phil, that they've reached their final form at the perfect time of the season. This squad moving forward could be very, very dangerous indeed.
Well, final form, or is it just one step closer to it? How good can Red Reserve really be? They'll be looking for that #1 spot, of course, in Division A. It's a stacked division, to say the least. These guys at the moment, they're performing, they're shutting down some of these North American and European teams as well when they took down Splice 3-0. But congratulations to Red Reserve on Game 1 of today here on Stage 2. So, good stuff.
Obviously, you mentioned they played twice. It's a good result for them. 3-1 doesn't go Game 5, so they'll be relieved about that. But when you get that early win under your belt, it must give you so much confidence when you head into your second series.
It really does, and what it gives them now is they can go back up to kind of the player lounge, sit back, watch the games that are going to come up, maybe study the team that they're going to be playing. I'm not sure how it works out here, but they can talk about maybe the mistakes that they did do in a controlled manner. They're not frustrated with each other. They can go, oh, by the way, on the Search and Destroy with USS Texas, try this, not this. And I think there'll just be a better morale with the victory under their belt.
Yeah, always is, right? When you're winning, it tends to be a lot of smiles. When you're losing, not so much. Of course, speaking of winning, we can send it down now to Jess with our PlayStation Instant Reaction with Scraps.
Thanks, Ben. Now going into that match versus Echo Fox, what were you expecting?
I always knew it was going to be a tough series, but we said if we win the first Hardpoint, we're more than likely going to win 3-0, but we had our best S&D first. We had our USS Texas, and the game started, and I didn't have a sniper class set up, and that's what I do on that map, so the team lost full, and we just had to start doing... I was doing stuff I've never done before, so it was tough, but obviously we won 3-1, and happy with the way we won.
So considering that S&D, what's the takeaway? How do you plan to address any issue that might have happened there?
Just make sure I make my sniper class. That's all we need to do, really, and I think we would have comfortably won that 3-0, but yeah, it happens, and it won't happen again.
All right, and then you guys have got to face Envy later on. How are you feeling going into that match?
I'm feeling great. Obviously, we lost yesterday, which was... We said to each other before that even happened, like, I want to see how we react when we lose, so in a way, I'm glad we lost. Obviously, we just bounced back and won 3-1 against Echo Fox, so I'm glad that happened, and we ain't taking anybody lightly.
All right, well, congratulations on the win. Thank you so much for the interview. This has been your PlayStation Instant Reaction, and we'll be right back after this quick break. Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm now on the desk with the experts. We're going to break down this match. There are definitely some things I want to talk about and highlight on the Echo Fox side. They continued to struggle specifically in Hardpoint. But before we get there, I want to highlight Red because obviously they get a big win. They bounce back. We heard Scraps talk about a chance. I want to start with you. Overall, what did you like about Red?
Good individual performances, I think, is the biggest thing for me. Obviously, they're great as a team. I think Scraps is a good pickup, but like map number one, like Rated just fried. Like the man had 32 kills on Vac with an AR, on Valkyrie, excuse me. Joe has been frying these past 2 weeks, like much better than we have ever seen him. Like he's always played that role, historically speaking, where he's gonna have a bad KD, but he plays the objective very, very well. But now he's like the flex player, right? So he needs to be picking up more kills, and he's doing just that. So he's been incredible. Rated has been pretty solid as well. So I just think individually they stack up very, very well talent-wise.
Nameless, for you from this best of 5 versus Echo Fox, anything from Red that really stood out?
Yeah, it's kind of to echo what Chance said. You know, I think it's a blessing in disguise with how many kills Joe's been getting. I don't think they expected him to be playing so well in this flex role, and then when you add a Slayer like Scraps, you're going to get games like that where you can just individually outperform the other team, and it's going to be too much for them to handle. So Red Reserve looked incredible in those hard points. There was no stopping them. Even on a map like London, where I kind of expect Echo Fox to be decent at with the players they have, they just were no match for them. And it was actually crazy to watch, you know, Joe and Scraps as that duo running around on that map, getting as many kills as they did. That was nice to watch.
It was working. It was working. Now, we talked a little bit about Red. We'll maybe get back to them a bit, but I do want to highlight something that we talked about this last week. I talked about it a bit on Hot Mic. Coming into this week, basically you had Echo Fox were 3-5 in Hardpoint, but 2 of those victories had come over Epsilon. So you could have said they were kind of 105 coming in. Now this week, they're 0-3. So they've lost 3 Hardpoints. They're basically, in my eyes, kind of 1-8 in Hardpoint right now, which is pathetic for this core 4.
Bad.
What is wrong with this team in Hardpoint?
I think the main issue is that Aqua has a .88 hardpoint KD. And when your main AR is not performing at the top of his ability, that's going to be really bad. I mean, Echo Fox has been struggling in hardpoint. We've seen it since Seattle. They haven't fixed it now, and the time's ticking. They're going to need Aqua to step it up. I don't think it's mainly only his fault, but I think that's definitely a huge factor. If your main AR is going to have a .88 and the rest of them are over like a 1.04 in the league, you're not going to be able to compete.
I guess my question for you then, do you think this foursome can fix it in hardpoint? Are they in trouble?
I mean, I think they're going to need to help him. You know, it's not just on him to fix his KD overall. It's probably a team thing, but they need to figure out why he's not in these positions, picking up these kills that, you know, Rated is getting.
They need Coach Nameless. That's what they need.
Yeah, that's what they need.
Well, we'll see if they can start to make it better. Now, speaking of their woes in hardpoint, Chance, there's a clip that you had picked. You want to talk about a little bit, some late game mistakes from them, because they've had a lot of like close losses in hardpoint over these past couple weeks.
Yeah, so the situation here is they're down by 30 seconds, but they're basically playing not to lose on this hill and try to go for the rotation. But you have players already, like 8 Vicento. He spawns up and he's coming through underground. But why? His teammates already in the hill have made sure that they can win, and he sits around B cut, and he's just passive. He gets there when there's 15 seconds left on this hill, and then he just sits there and waits. And what is he doing? And you see Red Reserve on the rotation. They get the dream setup. They get the exact positions that they want. They have triple stacked in the hill, and then they have one guy out lower docks, but they basically set themselves up to take just perfect gunfights. You have the window for cover. You have bait and switches available to you. And then Echo Fox on the retake, I mean, I guess they do what they can, but they got team shots that come in, and they had so much more time to work with. They have players spawning up with 25 seconds left, and they just take forever to rotate. So, like, yes, Aqua does have a .88 KD, and when your main AR isn't slaying, that's going to be problematic. But when you have opportunities where you have all the time in the world to rotate, and you need to rotate to win the game, and they just waste time, I think it's just really bad situational awareness we're seeing from them in Hardpoint. Well, some of the stuff they've done on Gibraltar, by the way, I know this is a backtrack, has been disgustingly awful. So they just need, maybe not scrim more, but just watch the VODs and figure out where there's holes in their setup. It's been rough.
Well, that's what I'm worried about. Like, is it a it's not a skill thing, obviously. Is it more, you know, we talk about, let's say we talk about a player like Looney, who Looney is one of the smartest subs in the game. Like, he makes the right decisions. Is this just you got some guys on this team that don't make the right decisions? And that's not something that's easily fixed, really, unless you have like a really, really good vocal leader that's kind of speaking for everybody. But guys, let's continue to move on through this.